Hi, first grade friends. Today we're ready for chapters 11 and 12 in book 9, Jill of the Ice Dragon. Chapter 11 is called The Power of the Giant. Before Frost could make a move, Vasty slammed his big icy fist on the floor. The whole fortress shook. It knocked Drake off his feet. Then Hulda spoke. "Vasty, leave this place," she said. "You cannot fight all of us." The ice giant laughed. "Yo ho ho! You could not defeat me before. You shall not defeat me now," he said. He pointed his staff at Hulda. But Frost zoomed forward with Mina on his back. "Frost, now!" Mina cried. Frost shot his icy breath at the staff, knocking it out of Vasty's hands. Hulda blasted magic from her fingertips. The giant staggered backward. Worm's eyes closed as his body glowed green. The staff floated up off the floor and then flew into the wall, shattering. Vasty laughed again. "Yo-ho! I am still powerful, even without my staff." He slammed his fists into the floor and ice began to spread everywhere. Worm and Frost went skidding backward. Drake and the others stumbled, trying not to fall down. Then a loud sound filled the hall. Roar! Vulcan was free. Capri had finally finished melting the ice around the fire dragon. Vulcan was angry. He started to wildly shoot flames. Orange fire hit the walls. It hit the ceiling. "Rory, you've got to control him," Drake yelled. Rory ran toward Vulcan. One of his flames almost hit her, but she dodged it and kept running. Then she jumped onto his back. "Vulcan, focus! We need you to melt that giant," she yelled. Vasty spun around. He growled. He clapped his hands together and an ice ball appeared between them. He hurled the ice ball at Vulcan. It hit Vulcan. He tumbled backward, but he wasn't frozen. Only a fire dragon can stop Vasty, Drake thought. That's what Mina had said. But is Vulcan powerful enough to do it alone? Drake closed his eyes. He wanted to send a message to Worm, but not out loud. He didn't want Vasty to hear. His dragonstone glowed as he thought the words in his head. "Worm, can you use your powers to get Vasty to stop moving?" Worm nodded. His body began to glow. Vulcan flew toward the giant again. Vasty clapped his hands together, getting ready to blast the dragon once more. Suddenly, Worm's green energy zapped the giant. Vasty froze in place. He couldn't move. "Good work, Worm," Drake cheered. "Vulcan, now!" Rory cried. An enormous fireball shot from Vulcan's mouth. Vulcan's fireball hit the ice giant. Vasty began to shrink and shrink and shrink. A puddle of water pooled at his feet. "He's melting," Mina cried. Worm broke his hold on Vasty. Now the giant was no taller than Drake's knee, and he was angry. "You have not won," he yelled, but his voice was tiny now. "I will use my magic. I will grow. I will come back larger than before." "Thank you for shrinking him, Vulcan," Mina said. "Now, Frost, get rid of this little pipsqueak." Frost breathed. A swirling tunnel of ice appeared in the air. The tunnel sucked up the tiny giant. "No!" Vasty cried. Then the tunnel disappeared, and so did the ice giant. Chapter 12 is called Fire and Ice. Hulda stood in the center of the great hall. She raised her arms above her head. Yellow magic shot from her fingertips. The ice melted off Shu and Zira. It melted off all the people in the fortress. It melted off the floors and the walls. The ice did not melt into big watery puddles. It just disappeared. The unfrozen people gazed around the hall, confused. Drake thought they looked like people waking from sleep. The king and queen called Hulda over to them. "My wizard, what has happened?" the king asked. "The ice giant, is he gone? And where did all the dragons come from?" Hulda smiled. "I will let Mina explain," she said. "It was she who rescued us." Mina bowed. "King Lars, Queen Sigrid, I did not rescue you alone," she began. "These are dragon masters from the kingdom of Bracken. I traveled there to seek their help. Together, we defeated Vasty." King Lars raised an eyebrow. He reminded Drake of King Roland, but King Lars had a white beard, not a red one, and this king's robes were brown and furry. "How good of King Roland to send his best dragon masters to help me," King Lars said. Drake looked at his friends. King Roland did not even know they were there. Rory bowed to King Lars and said, King Roland is happy to help you, your majesty. Drake knew this was a lie, but a smart lie, he thought. I shall not forget this kindness, King Lars said. Queen Sigrid smiled at them. Please stay and let us celebrate this victory with a great feast. Bo's stomach rumbled at the word feast, but the Dragon Masters knew they couldn't stay. That would be very nice, your majesty, but we must get back to Bracken right away, Drake said. King Lars nodded. Very well. The Dragon Masters climbed onto their dragons. Rory turned to Mina. You were right. Vasti was tough to beat. Mina smiled. And your Vulcan is very powerful, almost as powerful as Frost. Drake turned to Mina. It was nice meeting you, he said. Mina shook his hand. She squeezed it hard. I will never forget you, she said. She looked up at the others on their dragons. I will not forget any of you, and if you ever need my help, you will have it. Drake nodded. Thank you, he said. He looked at his friends. Everybody, touch Worm. The Dragon Masters obeyed. Then Drake touched Worm's neck. Worm, take us home. And that's the end of chapter 12. We will see you the next time. Bye, friends.